So welcome to another lockdown book flip through. I have two really cool books here from Japan. These are really hard to get, and they're by a fashion illustrator you've probably never heard of. So these are the works of Jun'ichi Nakahara. Nakahara is the family name, so Nakahara Jun'ichi in Japanese originally. And he was an extremely prolific and influential illustrator in post-war Japan. He was born in 1913 and he died in 1983. So he worked for a really long time. He is considered actually one of the most foundational artists of the shoujo style. His books are not easy to find in the West. Again, he's quite unknown, but in Japan he has a huge following. And I was actually able to find both of these on eBay. One of them was definitely, there was only one copy available, and I think this one there were only two copies. They were not horribly expensive. I bought them sort of before the shipping costs went up, but I was really happy to get them. He was, again, an extremely well-known fashion illustrator, a doll designer. He published his own magazine, so for himself and other artists. It was called Himawari. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Himawari, yeah, there we go, which means sunflower. And he did a lot of illustrations for it, and it ran from 1947 to 1952. I think there were sort of 16 or 17 issues. And from what I know, they're extremely popular in Japan, and secondhand copies go for quite a bit of money. So you can see here as we're looking through, he did a lot of work. His style definitely changed. He has a lot of, in this one, you can see a lot of different hairstyles, a lot of fashion plates. It's a very post-war look, 1940s, 1950s. And as you go through, you can see the change in his styles. If you manage to know more about his work, you can definitely see how influential he was. I really like his work. It's very refined, it's very elegant. I love the way he draws hair, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get this book specifically, is for all the hair illustrations. And I think you can also see as we go through this, the way he draws faces is super influential on the shoujo style as manga began to develop during the 1980s and the 1990s later. You can really see the influence that Jun'ichi had. He has an official store. He has actually an Instagram, which I follow. He has like pop-up shops, like his legacy continues. But unfortunately, outside of Japan, people just like do not know about him. And I really like his work. I think he really has a very particular aesthetic. And so this book is a little bit smaller. You can see that like the other Japanese book, it also opens this way. And I'm just trying to open the dust jacket, which is on here pretty tight. I don't know if this one opens. There it goes. So you can see as well. Just a very simple cover inside. Really nice green paper with a little bit of texture. It definitely looks a little different than the other book. You can see a lot of his work. So this is just so what early shoujo manga artists drew. But his work is very beautiful, very detailed. I like this one too for all the kimonos and the different poses. It has very very elegant, very stylized, and I was really happy to pick up this book. I want to do a bit more sort of character design and fashion illustration this winter. We'll see how much time I have with school, because I do work full-time as a teacher, but a book like this is definitely an inspiration. He's a really cool designer, and I wish more people in Europe and the United States knew about him. I feel his work is very fresh, it's very contemporary, especially like using colors like this. Again, more hairstyles, lots of kimonos. Yeah, I really love his work, and I really fell in love with it, and I was like, I really need to try to hunt down a couple of his books, so I'm really glad that these two were available. I wish, there was a publication available in English. It's actually very difficult to find information about him in English, but if you hunt a little bit, you can sort of figure things out. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend his work. Again, lots of great work on kimonos and textile patterns. And I think this book especially, this one here is more like hairstyles, heads, whereas this one here is a little bit more sort of going in depth to more details, more designs, more sort of an overview of his work. But I really am glad to have both, and I'm sure I'll be referencing a lot. So very 1970s there. But yeah, I really like that I was able to get my hands on these books. Again, shipping costs have just really gone through the roof with Japan right now because of the pandemic. But if you are lucky and you find a good bargain, it's still definitely worthwhile looking on eBay for works by him. I would definitely, if you're into shoujo illustration, if you're into fashion illustration, his stuff is definitely worth checking out. And these are my 2 copies, which I was really happy to have. And you can see here at the back, of course, Jun'ichi Nakahara kimono.